Well, hello, everyone. This is Jessie Bowen with the Martial Arts Extraordinaire podcast. Wow, we got a great program for you today. We focus on empowering martial artists and helping them to be able to grow their business, become informed, and understand the power that we offer to the community and all the things that we do. And so today we have a guest on, been knowing him for a while. We were going back to the years. I'm almost afraid to say the year number because we sound like we're old or something here, which I'm not old. But
we've been around a while, Jesse.
we have, but it's all been good, and we want to share that good part today. So today we have Carrow on, and he is the director, CEO of an event that's going to be happening in North Carolina. And this event is the University World Games. So we're going to be talking about that today. And, you know, if you're a sports fan, you can get anything you want out of this event coming up in 2029. You're probably saying, well, why are you guys talking about an event that's happening in 2029? You don't know all the stuff that really has to be done. So yes, we're talking about an event that's happening in 2029 that we are working on. I've been around Hill and we've been working together for a very long time, going back to North Carolina State Games when all that got started. But we'll get to that in a moment. Hey, Hill, welcome to Become the Martial Arts Extraordinaire podcast. Welcome.
Well, Jesse, it's an honor and a pleasure for me to join you on the broadcast. Thanks for inviting me. I'm really excited to be with you today and tell everybody about the World University Games.
Well, I know that you've been, working on these sports events for a very long time. So let's share a little bit. Let's share a little bit about you, and then let's take and get directly into, because we don't want our listeners to leave us because they really want to know what this is about. And no matter whether you're in North Carolina or not in North Carolina, this gives the opportunity for ideas and concepts and understand the volunteer support and what you can do in your community, the same thing that we've been able to do here in North Carolina. So I'm going to kick it over to you.
All right. Well, thanks. I'll give you a little bit of a brief bio. I'm actually an attorney by training, but I was always kind of a compulsive organizer of sports events. I was a competitive swimmer in college, and I still do what's called Masters competitive swimming for old guys like us. And I just want you to know that I got into sports really being a volunteer. And so I was helping volunteer doing, putting on events and everything, and got involved with an original bid for what was then the U.S. Olympic Festival, which, thank you. You helped me out a great deal, serving as our Taekwondo sports manager for that particular event in 1987. And as part of the run-up to that event, you mentioned the State Games of North Carolina. We actually founded the State Games and held it the year before the Olympic Festival as something of a test event at the time. But the great thing is that became a legacy, and the State Games of North Carolina still goes today. It's a multi-sport event for North Carolina residents of all ages, and it's still the largest annual sporting event in North Carolina. And so that was a great legacy from those games, and kind of carrying forward to today. So in the interim, I did various projects, like I worked for Champion and Haynes Corporation, directing their Olympic sponsorships of the Lillehammer and Atlanta Olympic Games. I also later worked for the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee and worked on the Salt Lake and Nagano and Sydney Olympic Games for the U.S. Olympic Committee before moving back to North Carolina. That was out in Colorado Springs and Salt Lake City, and moved back to North Carolina to still continue a career in sports tourism, really, is what we kind of consider the big events industry, where you're working to bring folks into your community, showcase your community, and have some really positive economic impacts from visitors eating in restaurants or staying in hotels, spectating at the events, supporting local merchants, etc. And so I've technically been in that industry for over 40 years now. And the World University Games is hopefully going to be a big way to go out, because it's probably about twice the size of that Olympic festival we did all those years ago, which to date still is the biggest event ever held in North Carolina, with attendance of over 464,000 and 34 sports in those games.
And that was really a great opportunity, because I think for Taekwondo was really getting its feet on the ground of coming in to be recognized as an Olympic sport, and having that opportunity to be there, to be a sport coordinator for that event. But it really opened up a whole lot of doors, and this is one of the things that my friends in the martial arts, I try to get them to understand the power of giving. It's not all about what you get, it's the power of giving. And through that, the opportunity to be the first coordinator for the state games for Taekwondo and for karate really gave my career a really big boost. And then we did the Olympic Festival, and being there and being on that opportunity, which, that after finishing that, I was brought on staff at Duke University, and I was at Duke for 29 years as their martial arts instructor. But a lot of great doors open from that. So tell us, what's the University Games? That's a question that everyone will have. Okay, what are you talking about? What is these games about?
All right, I'll be glad to tell you. I want to add one thing to what you were just commenting on, though, Jesse, because Taekwondo, if I remember correctly, was started in the Olympic Games as Olympic sport in 1988, when the games were in Seoul, Korea. And so we hosted the festival before that in 87. So that actually led to USA Taekwondo selecting us, our local region, to host the first Taekwondo Olympic trials. So we held that in Raleigh in 1988, leading into those games in Seoul. So, and now USA Taekwondo actually trains over in the Charlotte area for some of their high performance training. So it has built a legacy for that martial art sport here in North Carolina over a long period of time. And of course, it will be prominent in the World University Games, and you're serving as our sports manager again for that, and we're greatly appreciative of that.
I'm grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah.
Grateful for that opportunity. And, event management is what I take a lot of pride in doing, hosting events. And, we've had a great opportunity to impact the sport. And so we want to keep on doing that.
Yeah, so to finish answering your question about the World University Games. So the World University Games, not a lot of people in the United States have heard about it, even though it's an event that's been around since 1959. It's basically considered the Olympics for college and university athletes from around the world. It's the second largest global Olympic multi-sport event behind the Summer Games. So it's actually a really big event. But the only time it was in the U.S. previously was over 30 years ago up in Buffalo, New York, around the University of Buffalo. And so thus the awareness level isn't all that high, and we're working very hard to get the word out. And this podcast today is going to help with that, and we really appreciate that as well. So the games include 19 Olympic sports. Countries actually compete as their national university team. So the national university team of France, the national university team of the U.S. in those 19 sports. The 19 sports are many that you would think would be. They're all Olympic sports. So many you would expect in the Olympic Games. Big ones like track and field, swimming, diving, volleyball, basketball, baseball, soccer, gymnastics, and of course, Taekwondo. And then some other smaller sports like table tennis, badminton, fencing, judo, among others. So, it's a good variety of sports, and the event will be so big when it's in North Carolina that it will extend from downtown Raleigh at our convention center all the way to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, at the Joel Coliseum there. It will involve 15 host universities, 8 host municipalities, and 6 host counties. Plus the state of North Carolina is a big host of the event as well. So it's a kind of event that kind of sucks everybody in to pull it off, but we're excited about it because it's a great opportunity to bring university athletes from across the planet here to the USA and to North Carolina, and to really showcase our communities and our universities and step out on the world stage.
Well, that's good. And if you want to learn more about it, everyone, we did a big feature in the magazine, which is guess what the name of it is? Martial Arts Extraordinaire magazine. And we just did a big feature, several page write-up. Go to Amazon, get your copy of the Martial Arts Extraordinaire magazine. It's an international best-selling magazine, and it's just been nominated as Take Center Stage #1 or magazine of the year. So we've got a lot of really great things going on. And so this gives a lot of hope, for athletes, because most people think about, well, you're doing martial arts and that's it. You're doing it to defend yourself or stay in shape. But those other opportunities of the great athletes that was in 87, and, we went to Texas in 86 and to watch that event, to prepare for this event. But I don't think that was tough to get prepared for all the things and all the backroom discussions and all that kind of good stuff. But it was really great because the athletes were fantastic. The coaches were fantastic. It was a very professional event. And again, it went on, as you said, for the trials to be in North Carolina. So everyone, we're really talking about the university games that's going to be coming to World University Games. It's going to be coming to North Carolina in 2029. And we have with us Hill Carrow, who's the executive director for that. So in this process of the games, the organization, and everything, what do you expect for because it's going to be, we're hoping it's going to be televised, and so what's your takeaway that you want to have from having the games here? And I know you work really hard because it's not just a process of, hey, can I host your event in North Carolina?
Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of work that goes into it, as well as fundraising and, working with all our governmental authorities, all the universities. There are a tremendous number of constituencies, if you will, that have to come together and pull this event off. I've just met recently with the city of Greensboro and their city manager, and he had a whole crew from the city lined up, including the police department, the fire department, the Parks and Rec department, the facilities group, the transportation group. So that's in just one of the 8 municipalities that's helping host this. And you multiply that out and you get an idea of what it takes maybe to do something this size. But the good news is they were all very excited about it, and they want to help everywhere they can. And, if they want to start working on the planning and what it's going to take to make sure it is a success, and we prepared for every possible contingency to do it. Back to kind of the broadcast and all, yes, it will be broadcast all over the world. We're required to actually bring in a global broadcaster, if you will, that does what's called the world feed. So they will cover a tremendous amount of the games, and they'll literally send that broadcast all over the world to countries that want to show it within their own jurisdiction, if you will. And we are already working. We have been doing broadcasts in the U.S. to kind of build awareness for the games. So the winter, I should go back and say that every other year in the odd year, there is a World University Games, both a Winter World University Games in the January timeframe, typically, and then a Summer Games in either the July or August timeframe. Our games, by the way, will be July 11th through the 22nd of 2029. That having been said, so Torino, Italy was the site of the Winter World University Games in January of this year. And we worked with ESPN. We did a lot of the production here locally. We took the international feed from Italy. We had a local host put together, and Van Wagner, one of our local companies who does a tremendous amount of broadcast work, put together a broadcast, and then ESPN streamed it nationwide. So we had 3 hours in prime time of the last 6 days for each of the last 6 days of those games. And we're working right now. As a matter of fact, I have a broadcast committee meeting tomorrow morning to do the same for the games that are coming up next month, which are the summer games, which are being held in the Rhine-Ruhr region of Germany, which is centered around Dusseldorf and cities running kind of east of there. And so that's an important part of it. You asked about what do we want to see come out of these games. I mean, locally, there's an internal goal of, we're an area of a lot of jurisdictions, cities, counties. No one big place dominates it all. Like, if you went to the Atlanta area, where Atlanta kind of dominates Georgia, and there are other examples of that in other states. We have a lot of medium-sized cities that in the central area of North Carolina kind of run together, and you can't tell when you're in one and out the other. But they don't always work together very seamlessly. But when we did the Olympic Festival, we found that the sum is definitely greater than the individual parts if they all team up and tackle something together. And then they're able to address even local challenges such as homelessness or, affordable housing or, local crime and things like that, or transportation services, which we know we could enhance, across our area as well. And so we found for the Olympic Festival, getting them all together on the same page, trying to do something like a big event together, really brought them to have discussions together, chambers of commerce, city jurisdictions, et cetera. That's one internal goal. Let's build a team that can not only do this event, but can tackle other things that are important to quality of life and to residents here in our state, as well as visitors who come here, for sure. So on an international basis or a national basis, first of all, North Carolina is the host for the whole United States. U.S. is considered the host country for these games, and our games are positioned as North Carolina, USA as the host. So, we want America to look good. We want North Carolina to look good. We want all our universities and everybody who's coming together to make this happen look good and really step out on the world stage. North Carolina has grown tremendously in recent years. It's still one of the fastest growing areas in the entire country. We're the number 9 state in population in the U.S., and we're poised at the rate we're growing to not too long pass Georgia to be number 8 and to pass Ohio to be number 7. And that might happen by the time we have the 2029 games. And because we're very close behind those 2 states in population. And as such, we couldn't have done, I think, an event on this scale when you and I were working on the Olympic Festival all those years ago. But now I think North Carolina is well prepared to do that. Just to give you an example, we're going to use 40 different venues or so to host this event, and they have to be the quality of world-class type venues. We don't have to build a single thing because we already have 40 world-class venues in the central region of North Carolina. And so that is a statement in and of itself. The other thing is, our universities, we're getting a lot of international companies here. We also have our universities have a lot of international students and all. So we're growing in that direction. And we've often thought, well, now's the time, and 2029 gives us a little bit of a window to make sure we're really ready to step out on that world stage, and have the eyes of the world upon us and have visitors from all over come to our state and see what we have to offer. So that's really kind of the external goal. And then we hope to leave some legacy things. One quick example I'll give you of a legacy program we've already started. So we founded just this summer a program called the Triangle Sports Business Fellows, and we're going to grow this over to the Triad region of North Carolina, which is Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and High Point. And it actually started in Charlotte. So we're actually kind of borrowing the idea from Charlotte, and the Charlotte guys are helping us do this program. But it's for underserved or underrepresented population groups to get into the sports industry and hopefully have a career in the sports industry. So we're starting out small. We've got 4 fellows. I have one working with us, Andrew Perner, working with us this summer here at the World University Games. And we've got others placed at Wasserman, which is a global sports marketing agency, which has a large presence here in the area. One at the Durham Sports Commission as well. And one at NCFC and the North Carolina Courage, which are our local professional soccer teams. And so it's minorities and women that haven't maybe had the opportunity to really get a foot in the door, or haven't had the relations or the connections to get in. And so we're working to grow about double the size of that by next year, and so on and so forth. And by the end of the World University Games, we're going to let that program keep growing and run for itself, and hopefully expand not just across the Carolinas, but potentially across the country and everything. And that's just one of the kind of legacy aspects we'd like to see from the games.
That's a key word, legacy. We talk about the word legacy, and this is what we are now as a publishing company. We're a legacy publishing company, and when we can look back at the impact that we have contributed, to the state games, to the Olympic Festival, and to where we are now, because this program probably would not been playing today if I hadn't had these little bumps in the road of coming on with you in the state games. And if I hadn't have come on with you in the state games, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to be there for the Olympic Festival. If I hadn't have been there for the Olympic Festival, then Duke would have probably never hired me, and Dr. Walker, who was totally phenomenal, chancellor, went on to be chancellor at North Carolina Central University, and then with the USOC. So, it's just a lot of things we talk about legacy, but it's because we didn't turn down opportunities.
That's right. That's right. And the relationships that resulted from that, and we're going to require 20,000 volunteers for our games. We're hoping for about 600,000 spectators. And, I can't even count the number of people that are going to have to be involved as staff or professionals out at our venues to help get it done. And, that's an opportunity for anybody to build relationships and connections like you did to take you to the next adventure.
Well, and that's true. And so I'm calling all my martial arts friends, and, we want you. So if you are interested in being a volunteer to be involved in the World Games, then contact me. You can reach me at area code 919-618-8075, or you can go to our website and reach me, and that is whoswhointhemartialarts.com, and reach out. So, Hill, any last words or anything?
Well, I just like to thank you again, Jesse, for this opportunity, and also for taking on our Taekwondo sports management. I will say I'm excited to be over in Germany with you. One of the things I want to leave everybody in terms of relationships. So our German counterparts, the organizing committee for the games this summer in Germany, have offered a fantastic opportunity to our staff and sport managers and others that are going to be part of our team for the games to go over to Germany. They will embed our team into their organization and let them learn the World University Games from the inside out. And as part of that, they will credential them, uniform them, feed them, and house them at no cost to us. And it's all in the interest of building international relations that Germany wants to do that. And I'm hoping we can do something like that for whoever follows us in the World University Games too. But that is just an amazing offer and so generous. And we're really excited to build relationships with the German organizing committee. And Jessie, I know you'll be a part of that. And no telling where that will take us from there.
Well, we're always looking about, moving forward. What can we do to make the world a better place? This is what the American Martial Arts Alliance is about. So remember, everyone, reach out to me if you'd like to be a volunteer and support what we're going to be doing in 2029. But we're starting to work now. As Hill was saying, we're in Germany next month. We got a lot of things going on, and we want to not just keep it to ourselves. We want to share it with you. So remember, everyone has a story. This program is brought to you by Elite Publications, and you want to be able to get your story out. Tell your legacy. Find out about our Who's Who in the Martial Arts Hall of Honors coming up in Las Vegas. Remember, sign up, be a part. Hey, we're moving the world forward. Be blessed, and we'll see you the next time.